Yo, welcome back to a new stream. Welcome in, man. How are people doing? Let's see who we've got in the stream this morning. We've got Shardlight, yes, welcome in. Nam, Hamza, yes, pick up Hamza. Cade, Rico Lewis, MTFC, Stacey's in here as well. Zoheeb, let's see who else is in here. Pat Mills, OYP, Siv Johnson, Blue Moon, big up. Lewis Gillies is here, Dan Rowe is here, Bay Area is here, Joshua George is here, Akash is here. Who else is here, man? Des Doyle's here, Captain Harris, Wolzen Media, Tone, Chadley, Smelby, yes, bro. Just GG Gamer, Elela, Ad Hikari, Presto the First. Big up everyone, man. I can't go through everyone's name, and I'll try and give as many people a shout out as humanly possible. But this morning's stream, I wanted to have a quick chat about Kevin De Bruyne. Not too long of a video, but just the guy slammed again. The guy absolutely slammed it again last night. You know, he went through that period, didn't he, sort of in the middle part of the season where he didn't really cook that well, and there was a lot of questions. I remember doing the streams and that, and there's a lot of question marks about whether or not he should even be rested. Should he be rested for the Should he be rested? Should we drop him? And of course, he was dropped for 1 or 2 games as well. So Pep Guardiola clearly agreed with some people in the chat that basically wasn't performing as basically we thought he should be performing. However, he has absolutely been slamming it recently. For City as well, I think his performances for City have gone up. Obviously for Belgium as well, he's performing well. You know, if you look at his the game yesterday, the kind of friendly against Germany, got a goal, nice sort of drifting inside the box. That's kind of like what we like to see from Kevin De Bruyne. And obviously with the assists as well, you know, lovely stuff there from Kevin De Bruyne. And the question mark is, and I've mentioned this before about Kevin De Bruyne, but if we're to win this Premier League, I think we need to have Kevin De Bruyne in good form. I think we need to have a fit Kevin De Bruyne and a Kevin De Bruyne that is up for the fight. And I think at periods during the season, I don't think it's unfair to say that maybe you looked at him and gone, performances haven't been great. And sometimes it's looked like he just doesn't really have that fight and that enthusiasm. However, a couple of weeks ago, he come off the bench or started a game and he looked really, really good. And a bit like Phil Foden, he started performing well again. He's performed well for Belgium as well. And the question is Kevin De Bruyne back? And how important is Kevin De Bruyne to this team? Now, of course, he's really important. We know that. But in terms of like, if we don't have a Kevin De Bruyne that's performing at the best, do people still think we can win the league? Because for me, I think we need Kevin De Bruyne firing on all cylinders. I think you take Kevin De Bruyne out of that team and we can still give it a good go. But I just feel like he's like the dynamite in the midfield. He's the dynamite in our attack that can get us going and really create chances for Erling Haaland. You know, Erling Haaland, like, you know what I mean? He likes putting the ball in the back of the net, right? But he needs chances. And if you look at the assists and that, Jack Grealish doesn't really get that many assists. Phil Foden's now out for a couple of weeks. Mahrez is good. But then you're basically looking at Kevin De Bruyne. There's a lot of pressure on Kevin De Bruyne's shoulders. Probably a little bit more pressure than Haaland in many respects. Because if Haaland doesn't get the chances, everyone just goes, oh, okay, like nothing we could really do because no one created him chances. If you don't create the chances, then you look at your creative players like Kevin De Bruyne and go, why didn't you create chances? Now, for me, I think Kevin De Bruyne is absolutely crucial. I think that we need Kevin De Bruyne fit and firing. I think we need him in good form. I think we need him ready for the fight. And hopefully he is. Hopefully he is. He's been performing well recently, which is good to see. He performed well for Belgium as well. So it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Charlotte says he's got 11 games to get 8 more assists to equal his and Henry's record. He needs 9 to break it. I mean, it's doable. It's doable because the thing is, the reason it's doable is because he can get 3 assists in one match. He could get 3 assists in one game, right? So it's certainly doable. It is certainly doable. Let's see what else you guys are saying on this one. KDB masterclass in the Champions League. You know what's funny, right? You know what's funny about this is I was doing a Twitch stream last night. So if you don't join me on the Twitch streams, you should get yourself in the Twitch streams at night time, play FIFA, and we just chill out and listen to tunes and that. And someone asked me in the chat last night, can you compare? Is KDB up there with the best midfielders of all time? And I said, and I'd be interested to get your take on this, to be up there with the Xavis, the Iniestas, and the Modric. In my opinion, I think he is as good as them, but to be able to defend it off everyone and sort of be able to get your chest out and go, yeah, he is. I think he needs to do it in the Champions League. I think he needs to do it in a late stage Champions League game, semi-finals, finals. I think he needs to own it. I mean, I think if Kevin De Bruyne can perform well in a final or maybe semi-finals, then I think that you can then defend it against opposition fans, because opposition fans will say, no, it's not. He's not as good as Iniesta, Xavi, and all the greats. I think he is, but I think to be able to defend that without being sort of like shot down, I think if he can do it in a Champions League late stage game, which I'm talking about the finals, semi-finals, I think then it's completely defendable and you'll win the argument 9 times out of 10. I think he is as good as that. I think he is as good as that. But I just think he needs to do it we know he can do it in the Prem. We've seen him do it in the Prem time and time again. If he can do it in the Champions League this season, that'll be good. And you got to remember, guys, he's 32 as well, right? So it's one of them where you're not going to have him around for a very long time. City are clearly looking at new replacements. They're looking at that Vega kid. They're looking at Bellingham. Foden could play in the middle. They've been linked with other midfielders as well. So we'll have to see. We've got a super chat here from John who says, Kev dragged us to the league last season. We need him. That's another thing I was just about to go into. If you remember last season, him and Laporte really were the two players that sort of won us that Premier League in the end, because Laporte was playing with a knee injury and playing with injections in his knee for the last 2 games. And if he wouldn't have been playing, then we could have been properly chalked. And Kevin De Bruyne turned up. He turned up. Remember the Wolves game where he scored 4 goals or something like that against Wolves? Against Aston Villa, he put that great ball in behind for Ilkay Gundogan. We need him to be fit and ready. We need him to be up for it. And I think if Kevin De Bruyne is ready and up for it, I think we could go on and win this league. But if he's not, and his form drops, I think he's that important to our team and that crucial to our team that I think we could struggle. I think he needs to. See what else you guys are saying on here. KDB is clutch when we need him. I mean, that's a fair point, Ads, as well. He does seem to come in clutch, doesn't he? He does seem to come in clutch when we need him at the right time. So we need him now. This is the time we need him. So let's see if we can actually keep him fit and keep him firing on all cylinders now to the rest of the season. Let's have a look what else you guys are saying. I think the Pep news, guys, I think you should ignore the Pep news. Whatever the Pep news is, I've not seen it. But, I would suggest that it's probably not a good source if, whatever the news is. Come on, El Chingarito. Come on, people. Don't start losing your shit over El Chingarito TV as a source. Jeez. Come on, you're better than that, man. You're better than that. Big up Zane. He says he's a Liverpool fan. I can't lie. We're so terrible at 12:30 kickoffs. Well, it's going to be an interesting one because City have only beat Liverpool once in the last 11 games, and Liverpool have lost every single half-12 kickoff they've had this season. So, and both teams need to win. Both teams need to win. We're going for the Premier League, and you're going for the top 4. So both teams need to win. It's going to be an interesting one. El Chingarito is saying City are fearing that Pep Guardiola might leave and have contacted Luis Enrique as a replacement. I'm not listening to El Chingarito, man. The only reason I listen to El Chingarito is for shits and giggles. You know what I mean? They're funny, but they should not be taken as reliable at all. No chance. So please, if you're worried about it, ignore it. It ain't that fucking deep. Lewis says, I beg Pep sets up brave against Liverpool. They were there for the taking at Anfield, play our normal game. They were there for the taking at Anfield. You're absolutely right. Unfortunately, we feared them, which was weird at the time because we should have gone there and fucking took the game to them. Phil Foden didn't take on James Milner once. He didn't set up with a right winger. We played Cancelo as a right back / right wing. That was weird. Don't do that again, please. And we were just sort of a bit of a mess, So yeah, we'll have to see. Obviously, Liverpool are in this sort of top 4 fight now. But they ain't the same team, I mean, they're not a team that's cooking. That doesn't mean they can't cook. They can cook. Look what they did to United, and they could easily beat us. That's not in question. But they're not the same team as they have been in previous years. So we should really take the game to them and try and get that game won. You know what I mean? Let's not be hanging on at the end. What's happening with Haaland, says Ben. Not sure yet, mate. Probably get some more news on this in the next 48 hours. I would assume he is back in Manchester. And he's been to the physios at Manchester City Academy Stadium where they do the training and the gyms. So he's been looked at, but we've not had any news yet on whether or not he is going to be available for the game on Saturday. However, you know what the saying is? No news is good news, right? So let's see. Whether the players back in training, I would imagine that most of them will be back today, if not tomorrow. But I would imagine City and Pep Guardiola would have wanted most of these players back in training today because Saturday's game is so important, so tricky that we have to like full send it in it. We have to absolutely full send it. Yeah, more like El Chingarito. Yes, Dan Rowe. Funny that one. See what else you guys are saying on KDB. In fact, what I want to do, I want to get KDB's stats up. I want to stat pad this. KDB transfer marked. Stats. Yeah, let me show you this. Let me get it up on screen for you. Share screen. Kevin De Bruyne stats. Boom. Right, let's have a look at his stats then, people. So, what's he on this year? So, he's played 36 games, 6 goals, 21 assists, and he's played 2,762 minutes, which, if you do the maths on that, 6 had 21, that's 27. He's averaged a goal or an assist every 102 minutes as Kevin De Bruyne. So that's his sort of run rate at the moment. And he's got, obviously, like I say, got 13 assists in the Premier League, 4 goals. A bit low on the goals. I feel like he's normally a bit higher on the goals. I'll double check that in a minute. We'll come down to this in a second. If Haaland is out, false 9 or Alvarez, it's got to be Alvarez, John. It's got to be Alvarez, pal. It's got to be Alvarez. I know the temptation is there to go to a false 9 because it's worked, but you got to go Alvarez, mate. You signed him for all that cash, and he's one of the best young strikers in the world. You've got to play Alvarez. So let's have a look at his form. So, I mean, I think this was the sort of period here that his form dipped. Is that fair to say? 2 assists, no goals in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's quite funny as well because in that 8 games, we drew 1 and lost 2 in those 8 games, and we weren't really scoring goals. If you look at this, 1, 1, 1, 4, but he didn't play. 3, and he got an assist. 0, 3. You know what I mean? And then again, he cooks again. And then he started cooking recently. He started cooking again around here. He started cooking around these games here. This is where he started cooking again. And he played well against Arsenal. He played okay against Forest. He didn't have the best game in the world, but he did create chances, which is the main point of him being in the side, right? He did create chances. And obviously only played 11 minutes against Palace. Again, on the bench for that one. Obviously, if we go to the Champions League, which should be at the top here, home, Leipzig, like the guy absolutely slammed it, like 1 goal and an assist. Lovely performance from him. So he has been getting back into the swing of things. If we go back down to the, I don't know if we can see the international. Can we see the international friendlies? No, I don't think we can see the friendlies, which is a bit annoying. Yeah, that's a bit frustrating. I thought we would have been able to see the first. Oh, no, that's not it. They've not updated it because they played Germany in a friendly. But obviously, he scored last night and got a couple of assists as well. So I think he's getting back into the form. Yeah, he was good against Burnley. If we come down to the FA Cup, you're absolutely right, pal. He was good against Burnley. You're right. He got 2 assists there in the 2. So he has been getting back into form. He played well last night against Germany. I think this is the time now that Kevin De Bruyne kicks on. I think he kicks on from here and really starts putting in those top-class performances, those world-class performances that we know he can put in. If we look at the Premier League table, there's not that many games left now. What is this? The Arsenal have 10 games. City have got 11 games. And we just need to cook. We just need to start cooking, We're 8 points behind Arsenal at the top of the table there. We've got a game in hand. Win that goes to 5. We've still got to beat Arsenal, of course. That goes down to 2. But we need Kevin De Bruyne. We need him to be at his best. I think if Kevin De Bruyne's at his best and we keep up our clean sheet record, which is pretty good at the moment. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clean sheet record. You know, if we keep that solid defence and Kevin De Bruyne can cook, then that's why I've got a chance. And this is why I've been talking about our defence so much, because if you can keep clean sheets, I always back us. I always back us to score at least a goal in a game, at least one. But sometimes I don't back us to score 2 or 3. And that's a problem. That is a problem. So that's why we need our defence to be on form. And at the moment, they are 5 clean sheets in a row, right? If our defence can stay tight and keep those clean sheets, I think we can go on a mega run. Because I think we will pretty much score a goal a game. It's very rare that City don't score a single goal in a match. In fact, when was the last time we did that? When was the last time we didn't score a goal? Tottenham Hotspur on the 5th of February, you know? It's getting on for nearly 2 months. We don't really do that. We do normally score goals, but sometimes we only score one. And that's why keeping clean sheets is absolutely crucial. It really, really is. And if we keep clean sheets and Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland stay fit and in form, we will win the league, because I think we'll win every single game now to the rest of the season. I genuinely believe that. But look, there's a lot of tests to come up. There is a lot of tests. And there's a lot of exams that we got to pass, and we got to see what we can do. Dom says Kentelly's looking sharper, power in his running, his back, which he was missing. I agree. I think he looks a bit sharper. I think he looks a little bit quicker, which is important. Arsenal won't drop points against Leeds. They know it. Yeah, I don't think Arsenal will drop points against Leeds. I've come to the conclusion now. Right, let me get the Premier League table back up, and I'll tell you what I mean here. I've come to the conclusion that Arsenal are too good to drop points against average sides. So basically what I mean about this, I don't think there's going to be any shock results with Arsenal. I've come to the conclusion that there's not going to be. I think they'll beat Leeds. I think they'll beat West Ham. They'll beat Southampton. They'll probably beat Newcastle, Brighton. They'll probably beat Arsenal. They'll probably beat Wolves. They're not. I don't see them, Arsenal, the way they're playing, dropping points in any of those games. I don't. I did it before, a couple of weeks ago. 2 months ago, I thought, yeah, maybe there's a shock result on the cards. I don't see it no more. I just think Arsenal are too good, or in too good of form to drop points against these sort of sides. So the only teams that I can possibly see Arsenal dropping points to are Liverpool, City, which obviously we need to win, otherwise we can't win the league anyway, Chelsea, and Newcastle. That's it. I think they beat everyone else. I do. I think they beat everyone else. There's basically 4 games now. 4 games now for the rest of the season, and one of them's City. So these 3 games, basically, I'm saying there's 3 games, and if Arsenal win all 3 of those games, they've won the league. Because I think if they beat Chelsea, they beat Liverpool, they beat Newcastle, I think they'll win the league. Because I think they'll beat everyone else, regardless of City. Even if City beat Arsenal, it doesn't matter, because we need them to drop points. That's how bad it is. That's how tight it is, man. It's very, very tight at the top of the table. There's more than enough chances there to win the league, says Carl. I mean, there's 3 massive games there for Arsenal. If they can beat Liverpool away, Chelsea at home, Newcastle away, I mean, you got to give it to them and say credit where credit's due, man. That's big. Guzman says Liverpool at Anfield is tricky for Arsenal and Newcastle away. Correct, it is tricky, but these are the tests you've got to go through. We went to Newcastle back in the day and won. You know what I mean? Arsenal have to go to Newcastle and win. The good news for us is, obviously, Newcastle are in this top 4 fight. And Newcastle in that game will be absolutely desperate to win that game. I mean, we need to play them. Do we need to play them one more time? Or we played them home and away? No, we played them home and away now. So we're dusted on that. We played United home and away. Played Spurs home and away. We played Spurs home and away? Yeah, we played Spurs home and away. So we kind of chill on that. But Arsenal have got big tests. They've got big tests coming up, and it's up to them to see if they can. It's up to them to see if they can win those games. But there is enough chances there for City. I guess for us, the main thing for us right now is the fact that it's just not nice being 8 points behind. And I know we've got a game in hand, but points on the board, people, points on the board, man. That's the thing, So we'll have to see in it. We'll have to see, but it's a madness. Kevin De Bruyne is back. It's looking like he's in good form right now. Well, we need it for Saturday. We need to be ready. We need to be firing, especially if Phil Foden's not available and Haaland's not available. Then we need Kevin De Bruyne to be in top form, don't we? Let's be honest. We need him in top form. Right, before I go, let's have a look at some comments that people are saying on here. The aim should be to try and win every game. Hopefully, I agree. We just need to play our game, which is the main thing. I agree. All we need to do is win games. What happens otherwise is secondary. Correct, but we do need Arsenal to drop points, right? Because otherwise we can't win the league if we win on our games. So I agree, focus on our own game, but we do need to keep an eye out on Arsenal. Otherwise we can't win the league. So yeah, it's going to be a madness. It's going to be a madness. Remember, City versus Liverpool, 12:30 kickoff. It's going to be a madness. We'll be back in a few hours' time with the midday stream. So keep your eye out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. Big up to Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin, if you're watching, from myself and everybody in this stream, King Haaland, Eileen, Zeno, Leo Oxycan, John, Zaid, Charlie Links, Guzman Law, Shameen, Guffal, Kevin De Bruyne, we're all fucking begging, mate, that you absolutely smash it now to the rest of the season. We know that you can do it, bro. We know that you got the talents, Bray. We know that you got the desire, bro. You can do it, man. You can do it, bro. Kevin De Bruyne, you got to take us to that Premier League title. Big up, everyone. I'll see you in a few hours, man. For the midday stream, we'll have some transfer news, transfer speculation. And if you're not... Chat, man. Let's fucking go.